Hello, I'm an alien. You can call me Al. This is part 5 of my message, reducing CO2 in the atmosphere. CO2 exists in the atmosphere at a concentration of 400 parts per million. That means that there is one CO2 molecule for 2,500 others, and yet it has an overwhelming effect upon temperature. This extreme dilution means that it is hard to separate and expensive to compress, but there are ways around this problem. Choose a mid-ocean location and you've got plenty of wind power to separate the CO2 and wave power to compress it. The product is seawater with an enhanced CO2 content. This can be pumped to the bottom of the sea and released in a location where there is minimum current. With the right choice of location, the CO2 would remain out of circulation for thousands of years. Here is the machine.
Incoming air is collected by the windsocks, which are lined with molecular sieve material. This preferentially blocks the oxygen and nitrogen, but the CO2 passes through and is thus concentrated. This rich air is then compressed using wave power and washed with seawater sprays, which reduces the CO2 content of the air and transfers it to the water. The rich water is then pumped down to the ocean depths at a location where there is minimal current.
So, here are the numbers.
In mid-ocean, a 5-kilometer long giant scrubber, GTS, can capture 280,000 cubic meters of air per second. Windsocks concentrate the CO2 by a factor of 100. That is, from 400 parts per million up to 40,000 parts per million. That is 4%. This rich air is compressed using wave power by the GTS machine to 1.5 bar. Water wash with deep, cold seawater, 600 parts per million, reduces the airborne CO2 to 800 parts per million, and the rich seawater, 36,000 parts per million, that is 3.6% CO2, is pumped to the bottom of the ocean by the GTS. Result, CO2 removed from the atmosphere is 11.8 tons per minute. That's just over 6 million tons per year.
Human emissions in 2015 were 32 gigatons per year. That means the number of machines like this that you would need to completely counter human emissions is only 5,300. The giant machines necessary to do this job are well within the capabilities of your offshore industry to make. As well as removing CO2, they stimulate ocean circulation and remove heat from the surface waters. Here's a last thought. For an investment of, say, 400 million euros, you get to lock up 6 million tons per year of CO2. If you only got 10 euros per ton for CO2, this service would return you 15%. Put another way, under a carbon pricing regime, this machine would pay for itself in the first 7 years of its 200-year life.